Amanda Teacup's conscience was born for a second time, or at least that's how it felt when she woke up on the 5th of July. Sleep retreated the way a tide before a tsunami does. She propped herself up on her elbow, bed squeaking beneath her. She groaned. The grogginess hit her. She wanted to lay back down, but she was already in the process of getting up, and she knew she needed coffee. She looked at the time. It was 9:30, and she usually woke up at 8 on her days off. She groaned again before reaching to her nightstand, suspecting a cup of water, but grabbing a red Solo cup instead. She could smell the alcohol in it. She winced into the cup and wondered what witch's brew had been concocted there. She put the red Solo cup back down on the nightstand. Amanda Teacup never felt any patriotism. She certainly wasn't sure that this was what it was supposed to feel like as she shuffled out into the hallway in a white bathrobe with her hands on her lower back. She didn't care about politics and only identified as a Democrat because that's what all her friends identified as. The 4th of July was just an excuse for her to throw a party. There was a cupcake wrapper on the hallway floor, like it was the wreck of a miniature flying saucer. Clumps of yellow cake freckled it with some of the crumbs, having ventured out onto the hardwood floor. Her fluffy slippers shuffled past it. There was no way she was going to bend down and pick that up now. She got into the kitchen and put the kettle on, getting out a mug and scooping out some instant coffee into it. She moved into this house on a dead-end street in Lynn, Massachusetts, last fall, and her house hadn't been this messy since then. The house sat outside of a woods that joggers and dog walkers occasioned into. She mostly inhabited the second floor. The first floor was just a den beside the garage. Plastic Uncle Sam hats and abandoned red Solo cups lay strewn throughout the kitchen, which was attached to a living room. A couple of cupcakes coexisted on the kitchen table. She baked them yesterday morning. Yellow cupcakes with chocolate frosting and red, white, and blue sprinkles. The house looked hungover too. She didn't bother to turn around and study the damage even more. All Amanda could do was stand at the kitchen counter while the water in the kettle sizzled. "He's coming back! He's coming!" a woman cheered, twirling into the kitchen. Amanda jumped. She felt electrocuted. The fright nearly scared her hangover away, but the grogginess only worsened while she started having to catch her breath. She made a gradual turn at the kitchen counter, turning ever so slowly as if her skeleton had rotten inside her body. With her hand to her chest and her other hand on the kitchen counter, Amanda was still in the aftermath of being startled when she saw the woman. The woman finished her twirl and let her hands down at a graceful rate, the way somebody lets a sheet hover down over a bed. Amanda gulped and went back to catching her breath. The woman was in a dark chocolate-colored dress with a white apron over it. The dress seemed to have been fashioned out of a cloth or wool that Amanda had never seen. The woman had a white bonnet over her hair, which let a couple brunette strands slip. She had a smile that didn't seem to match the opaque purple bags beneath her eyes that were also brown. Her cheeks seemed a couple months from caving. The more that Amanda caught her breath, taking in deep gulps of air, the more she caught a scent of fresh, warm muffins, something pumpkin, and the cryptic smell of a cow. "Who are you?" Amanda croaked, her voice rough with exhaustion. Then it clicked. "You didn't Uber home? I told everyone to Uber home." "Uber?" The woman in the bonnet smiled. "Yeah." Amanda rubbed her lips together, a cheap replacement for using chapstick. "You one of Amy's friends?" "Who's Amy?" the woman asked, sounding delighted. Amanda examined the woman. "Who are you?" she inquired. "My Christian name is Wyona," the woman answered, still smiling. Amanda had never seen such a sincere smile. She caught a whiff of boiled turnip when the woman answered. "Wyona who?" "Wyona Board," she answered. "And you are?" "Amanda," Amanda answered while pouring the boiled water into her mug. "Anyway, you said, somebody's coming?" This made the woman, Wyona Board, do another bed-making pirouette, which resurrected the startle in Amanda all over again. Her arms felt the way they had before when she stopped her pirouette. "My fiancé's coming," Wyona cooed. "He's coming back from the fighting. I knew he was when you threw this great big party for us." Amanda went to say something, but Wyona interrupted her. "Oh, I am so sorry that I was so shy last night. I didn't know anybody." "You were here last night?" Amanda asked, then decided not to question further because of how little she remembered about the night before. She put her hand on her forehead, asking herself, "Jesus, how hungover am I?" "Hangover?" Wyona raised her brows. "Have you been sentenced to hang?" "No," Amanda said. "I just had too much to drink." "Oh," Wyona's smile returned. "You're just a drunkard." "Not exactly." "Are you a tavern keeper?" "No," Amanda answered. "This is just my house." "You own a house? Where's your husband?" "I don't have a husband," Amanda answered. "Hey, wait. What did you mean, this party's for you?" Wyona stood still. Her look of delight remained, but now it was as if she was made out of the sheet hovering down onto the mattress. Amanda had to look away because her heart, conscience, something inside her could not contain the delight that Wyona beamed. Why did such a smile make her sad? Amanda, with the coffee steam warming up her face, looked around the messy kitchen and living room. Plastic Uncle Sam hats, little American lawn flags on the hardwood floor, forgotten about. "Well, this party's for my fiancé and I, isn't it?" Wyona asked, her smile wavering. "No," Amanda said in a sharp voice, maybe agitated from her hangover. She just wanted peace, after all. "I don't know you," she said, poking her face through the stream of coffee steam. This was a 4th of July party. The juxtaposition between the women poisoned the once comfy kitchen. Amanda in her towel-textured bathrobe, looking at the ditchy woman in colonial dress. So she reeled her agitation back as she said, "This party wasn't for you or your fiancé." "My Lipton Proctor," Wynonna croaked. Her smile wrinkled in betrayal for just a second. "He was supposed to be back last night. That's why you threw the party, so he could—" "Good God, bitch!" Amanda groaned. She rolled her eyes. "I'll call you an Uber. I'll pay for it." She started walking past Wynonna, going to get her phone out of her room. "What drugs did you take last night?" she called from down the hallway, returning into the kitchen with her phone and opening the Uber app. "Oh, don't fetch a carriage," Wynonna cooed. Her whine was beautiful. Amanda's thumb hovered over the phone screen while she surveyed the mess in her living room and kitchen again. The more the coffee worked, the more details she noticed. Red, white, and blue confetti freckled the couch and hardwood floor inside the living room. She would have gotten angry about the confetti on the television stand, but she was thinking. "Where's your fiancé?" Amanda asked after a period of hesitation. "He's coming back from Boston," Wynonna said with a shake of her head. "That's a hell of a drive," Amanda snickered. The mere thought of driving in and out of Boston annoyed her. She slanted her lips in thought. "You hungry?" "Oh, I haven't been hungry. I can't think of food," Wynonna answered, shaking her head again. "Suit yourself," Amanda said, trying not to roll her eyes. She sniffled. A wave of dizziness hit her, so she sipped her coffee. "Oh my," Wynonna said in a kind of dainty gasp. "Thou art pale." "Thou art what?" "Do you have consumption?" Wynonna asked. This poked Amanda's agitation. "Do I have what?" Amanda snapped. "You're weird as I'm calling you an Uber. For real this time." "Oh no, you can't call Master Uber," Wynonna begged. He'll be here soon, I swear." Amanda felt goosebumps sprout along her biceps, even though they were snug in the sleeves of her bathrobe. That switch from delight to dire in Wynonna's face did not sit right with Amanda. "Who's coming?" Amanda asked, though part of her didn't want to for some reason. "Lipton Proctor, my fiancé," Wynonna spoke, somewhere in between that delight and direness. A knock came from down below, and Wynonna begged, "Oh, go open up the door." Amanda looked at the woman with grunt reluctance. Her mug anchored her to the earth. "Who's here?" Amanda asked, but part of her knew the answer. Was that the fist of Lipton Proctor on the door below? The hand that held Wynonna Board's face one day in Danvers while the two of them sat underneath an oak tree after church? Amanda blinked, but blinking did not shoo away the desperate woman before her. So Amanda took hesitant steps with her slippers to the staircase. Wynonna stayed inside the kitchen. Something kept her there, but Amanda could feel Wynonna's eyes. Her eyes with those purple bags underneath them watch her descend the stairs. There came another knock. Amanda reached the first floor and, holding her coffee mug to her chest like a shield, reached for the door and opened it. A man in a brown coat and White Blouse under it stood there. He was white, handsome, and looked glum. He looked incredibly tired. He wore tight black pants, and Amanda wanted to scream. There was an indent screwed messily into the man's chest. It mangled the brown coat and white blouse together. A dark red liquid was pooling out of the hole in his chest. "Lytton!" Wynonna cried from the top of the staircase. Amanda stepped out of the way to make way for Wynonna, who rushed down the stairs and into the stranger's arms. He took her with reluctantly obedient muscles. It seems Wynonna did not notice the red hole in her fiancé's chest. Amanda's eyes widened. She almost dropped her mug, but the scene of the hugging lovers made the horror sedating. The horror was sweet. Something felt repaired in the air. Something felt okay. Oddly, as she watched the stranger's hug, despite the man's bleeding chest wound, Amanda felt an intense guilt about the red, white, and blue mess inside of her house. Wynonna turned, gave Amanda a thankful smile, and walked off into the woods with the wounded man. Amanda stood in the doorway and watched the two vanish into the woods. You've been listening to The 5th of July, a story written by Nicholas Leonard and read by Naya Nomikou.